Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Postgame Show, the hodgepodge of nothingness, part of Pittsburgh Baseball Now. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Tyler Sweeney.
So
before we start this, it's all Jim's fault. This is all Jim's fault. I mean, how many times does he go to a Pirates game? They get blown out. Every time we see, like tonight, he had softball. Wasn't watching the game. It's a good game. Pirates are winning. He literally tweeted, coming back from softball, what happened? You know what happened in that moment? That moment, the tides shifted and the Pirates lost. They're up 8-4, Ty.
Happy birthday, Leonardo.
Hey, Tyler. It's funny, this is an ongoing thing. We just don't recognize your birthday. But that's also because no one really knew when your birthday was.
Well, that's why I remind you guys every year in the group chat when I wish you a happy birthday. And I tell you, oh, weird, I thought we had the same birthday.
Right. So
I
for
used
all
that on
those
someone
listening,
today, and they didn't get it. Hurt.
Yeah, for all those listening, for all those watching, today is Tyler's birthday. So happy birthday, Tyler.
Know what I did? 2 podcasts.
You did. NS9 Bets. Go check that out if you haven't. And now you're doing this one. Fun times.
Yeah. Back to Jim. Piss on that guy.
Back to hating on Jim. Like he doesn't show up to work. He doesn't do anything. And then as soon as he turns on the Pirates games, they lose. Like there's no benefits from Jim.
Not good.
Let's talk about today's game though.
Yeah, I guess we have to. 13 left.
Who's counting? The final countdown.
I mean, for God's sake, like, do we all want to sit here and do this every night? I guess we do. Like, that's why we watch.
The maximum amount of times is 13 more times I want to do this.
Yeah. You know what I'm ready for? I'm ready to jump ahead to next April. I want to see what happens. I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. Like I'm on the last few pages of this chapter. I'm ready to move on.
I'm ready for the off season. I'm ready to focus on the future.
Yes,
because we didn't get a whole lot of that this year. But
we thought it was going to happen. It hasn't. That's neither here nor there. But I'm ready to move on. We're 4 pages from the final chapter of this book, and let's go.
Before we do move on, though, there is a player who we just got a little taste of, and today was his second start, and that's Luis Ortiz. And like, if there was one reason to extend this season, it would be to continue to watch Luis Ortiz, because I am hella intrigued right now. We talked about the first start,
Jesus
and
Christ,
how it was, but hey, it's one start.
I'm 29 years old today, and you just used the term hella.
Shut up.
We're still doing that. You're like 40.
Yeah, we are. So, listen, his second start today against the New York Yankees. I mean, this is in New York Yankee Stadium. He's in Yankee Stadium, right? The field dimensions are 200 feet, and
literally, it's a T-ball field.
It's a home run. So that was his plague. If you want to look at minor leagues, right? He had like the 1.5 home runs per 9. But again, we saw what he did his first outing. Now, again, it's only the second start, right? It's a very small sample. The book's not out on him. You know, players are going to adjust. They're going to see what he has. And that won't happen until next year anyways. He's not going to have enough starts to really, but batters adjust to him. But regardless, second start right now against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Should have been 0. 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, 2 walks.
didn't allow a hit until the fourth?
I think it was the fourth. So, Mr. Pitching Yinza, tell us about Luis Ortiz.
I think I came away today more intrigued by Luis Ortiz than I was his first start. Because we saw him hold the velocity into later innings again. And I think the first outing, you can maybe attribute some of that to adrenaline and just being the first start.
Sure.
We saw a lot of the same tonight. And I think the control, maybe not the command, but the control was better tonight, I think, against a very potent lineup. And he just brings it, dude. Like, there's no other way to put it, but he pumps it.
He has no fear.
No,
it's your first time up. It's the Cincinnati Reds, like you said. You could have the adrenaline going or whatever. I mean, he tuck his tail. The stage wasn't too big for him the first night, but again, it's an inferior team. Now he's going into Yankee Stadium facing the Yankees, his second start, and everything you're saying. He attacked these hitters, and his stuff was there, and the results were there. I'm excited, man.
It's another Neil Huntington dub.
The big dub, baby. Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like a guy he reminds me of, but I can't. Off the top of my head, there's not many like fastball slider guys that throw like him that are really effective. Normally, they will have
especially
one more pitch in there. Yeah, as a starter. And it's weird because we get so excited about just relievers that throw that hard. And this guy's holding it through 4 or 5 innings right now.
So let me bring something up. Now that you say that, okay, the irony in this. Weren't you really the one touting against Jim, who is more or less saying you can't be a 2-pitch guy, fastball slider, and you're saying you could? Was that the argument or was it opposite?
So my argument was that you can be a fastball curveball guy.
Oh, that's
change
what it was.
Of speed. Fastball slider, I think, is a little bit tougher. I think we see DeGrom do it a little bit. There's been a few guys that can be fastball slider guys. I mean, Garrett Cole kind of is, but he does have the curveball. I mean, Chad Cole did it a lot, but we don't really see the really effective pitchers be fastball slider because everyone's just hard.
Okay.
So you'd probably like to see him add something that's a change of speed, but I'd rather work with what he's already got than anything else.
Right. So I wanted to bring up
Roansy kind of is fastball slider, but he does have that curveball as well, and he's working the changeup a little more.
Well, today he threw the fastball, the 4-seamer 41 times, threw the slider 30 times, and the changeup 3. So basically, like you're saying, fastball slider. We talked last time his start where the slider wasn't crisp, wasn't great. It was just it played so well off the fastball, right? And today, I mean, it was all kinds of swings and misses. So he got 14 swings off of it, 7 swings and misses, right? 50% whiff rate. Kind of the same thing as like last start.
How much do you think he drank at softball?
Type per glass now.
I mean, glass
not
now
as
was
much as you've
curveball.
drank today.
I haven't drank that much actually.
Again, like his stuff plays, and the fact that like the velocity has held up the whole way through. That's what my biggest takeaway from last start was as well. I mean, he threw like 100. He threw 100 mile. I think it was like 99.9 is what it clocked in technically, but it was 99.9 in the 5th inning last start, and like the same thing this week. Just it's holding up the entire time. It's not as if like he throws 100 miles an hour the first inning and then he's walking away throwing at 95, 96. It's the whole time. I mean, this dude is pumping straight gas.
Yeah, and I think the command's maybe not holding up as much as you'd love, but it's still not bad at that point. He, like you mentioned, he should not have given up an earned run on any planet.
No.
A competent major league team makes it out.
Thank you. And it's like, I want to say thank you, Diego Castillo, right? I mean, it was his, a lot of blame goes on him, right? Brian Reynolds gets the error. A lot of blame goes on him, but also at the same time, he's not an outfielder. So like, you can't blame him for playing a position he can't play. It's not his fault. He's an infielder. but he's playing in outfield. You had three of them sitting in the bench today.
I'm not even gonna comment. Like, it'll take us down a rabbit hole I don't want to go down tonight.
That's fine. That's fine. We don't have to because we've talked about that 158 times so far.
Yeah. I think what are we 100
so
like
148 times so far.
So
yeah.
But
anyways,
Ortiz, very, very intrigued. He certainly should get a real shot at the rotation next year in spring training.
It's 2 starts. I get it. But I don't see how he shouldn't by any means either. But we see this rotation. I mean, are you really gonna Zach Thompson, Bryce Wilson, like are those guys gonna be the ones not giving him a fair shot or opportunity? So like I'm with you so far. I think he should get that fair shot. But again, ultimately, so all the stuff we're talking about right now, it's not also as if he was like the number 3 prospect in the Pirates system, and you need him to be a number 1, number 2. I mean, this guy's essentially come out of nowhere. A lot of people never even heard of him until a week ago. And if he could just be a number 4, number 5, that's a win, right? But the thing I'm getting at is, even if he doesn't work out, like you're seeing everything that this guy can really be an elite reliever.
I'm just ignoring every thought of service time manipulation with him. Because if it's Jack Sawinski all over. Like, if you're manipulating service time for Luis Ortiz, then what the hell are you doing here?
Well, you already did. That's why he's here now.
So it probably had more to do with the fact that he just wasn't a prospect.
Probably. I mean, he's still rated like the number 30th prospect. And that's why I also like to pump your brakes a little bit. But he has had a really solid year. You're hearing a lot of people talk about him, and we're seeing it now firsthand. So there's definitely some stuff to be excited about. So yeah, big start for Luis Ortiz. Very good outing, even though he doesn't get the win.
And like, just to shed some positive light, I think, on the Pirates season, the pitching staff has taken a step forward going into next year. There's fewer question marks, I think. Seeing Mitch Keller do what he's done is encouraging. JT Brubaker is encouraging. Seeing Roansy put together an okay year. I don't want to go overboard with him, but he's put together an okay year. Seeing an Ortiz do this when maybe you would hope it would have been a Hurry or someone like that. But seeing another prospect take a step forward, it looks like if you squint hard enough, they might be in a bit of a better position.
That's fair. I don't think you have to squint that hard. But again, it wasn't like the bar was too high.
Yeah. Like, a lot of things have gone
as if saying it's
well.
Good. It's just a better position. 88th place is better than 100.
Like, there's not an ace in this rotation right now.
No,
Roansy,
there's not.
He's got some. He needs to take a few steps forward. Keller has, I think, kind of started to solidify himself as a middle of the rotation guy. Brubaker, lower end guy. Ortiz might be able to fit into a rotation somewhere. There's been some positive steps, but I'm not going to be as negative as I always am. There are some things you can look at and take positives from this year in the pitching staff realm.
I agree. You're going into next season more confident in players than this season. Again,
I think there are
very big lack of confidence
in
Keller.
Marks.
Right. Keller, again, when we talked, Jim and I talked a lot in Starbucks about that. It was a very much of a make it or break it year for him. Where I think it was probably easier to decide that he's not gonna make it. And Brubaker, a lot of question marks, right? He broke down, but maybe he just isn't that guy. And I think Brubaker answered a lot of questions. And again, like, no one's saying that they're an ace. It's just they're starting pitchers. They're major league starting pitchers. Like, that's the bar right now. And that's enough for next year at this point in time.
Man, we're talking about a team that started Zach Thompson and freaking Bryce Wilson a lot.
Exactly.
And Tyler Beatty.
And those guys aren't starting pitchers, and that's fine. But hey, Keller is, Brubaker is, Roansy is, 350 rotation, are starting pitchers. Maybe Luis Ortiz is,
something.
and you give him the opportunity next year to prove himself, right? And the other guys start coming up. Maybe Quinn Priesters comes up and, hey, hell, maybe they
Michael
sign a veteran with him.
Burrows.
Right, Burrows.
Like we're getting closer rotation wise.
Very true.
It's baby steps, but it's a better position, I guess, going into next year than we were sitting this year. But it's also taking a lot longer to get there.
So what is your 2023 rotation? Happy birthday, Tyler. Bless
Keller,
us with your
Brubaker.
rotation.
Well, I'm giving Keller a ball on opening day.
He
I
deserves
want to do it this year. I'll do it next year. Roansy. I'm still calling him Roansy. I don't care if his name's Rowanzi. I'm not Latin enough to do that. Brubaker's in it. I would put Ortiz in it, and then, I mean, they're not going to start Burrow or Priester, so just give me a free agent that's not terrible. That's not my wish list. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah. Again, I'm with you because I want to see more. And again, that's just maybe the hopefulness. I want to see more Ortiz, but he could also ultimately just be not that good of a pitcher. And he is a bullpen guy. And now you're back in that situation where you have 3 real guys, and what are you going to do? So that's why the veterans make sense. I think he should get every opportunity to. That's for sure. I would prefer a couple of free agents, and then maybe Ortiz is in the bullpen. We talk about this, especially you, like the Brewers way, right? Like maybe he's in the bullpen for next year, and then he slides in the rotation or whatnot. I mean, you have some guys start proving themselves. I don't know. I would prefer to have a couple of free agents, like maybe actually have a real pitching staff and make some real strides. And hey, if Priesters prove himself, Burrows prove himself, they're going to manipulate those service times. Maybe you do to Quintana and trade the guy, right?
So to me, it's one extreme or the other. They either need to just go all in, start the young guys, or go the other way and sign some dudes. No, we can't have another year of a Bryce Wilson and Zach Thompson.
I think they're done. I mean, I don't know.
But I'm saying one of those types of dudes.
No, you're right.
A guy like that
honestly
cannot
feel
start
like
next year.
They're both DFA candidates, and I would not be shocked by any means if both of them are DFA'd. They probably should.
Anthony
get Quintana back. I'm with it.
Bring him back.
Bring him back, baby.
I mean,
trade him again. He can be the new. Oh God, who was that kept getting traded to the Mets? Like every time. I can't remember. I swear he got traded to the Mets like 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember. I'll find out. Anyways, sign Taillon. There you go. But yeah, I would be down with that. But let's get back to this game because we want to keep this short. Not short, but we don't need to talk 40 minutes about this.
Yeah.
So Luis Ortiz will move on.
That was as positive as we have ever been on this post-game show after a loss like this.
Oh, the way this loss was, probably. But there was a lot of positives in this game. Like, that's what really sucked about this game. I know it was long, and you hate long games or whatever, but it honestly was a fun, interesting game. And it helped that the Pirates were winning for a good portion. It went back and forth a little bit, but offensively, the pitching, there's a lot of positives from this. Brian Reynolds goes 4 for 5 today, 2 RBIs, a big home run. Rodolfo Castro, his 11th home run. We just keep talking about Castro and that pop. And, again, the big theme this week was the potential between a Cruz and Rodolfo Castro middle infield and what the power could be. And Castro just says, I'm going to just keep going. It's another home run today. Sure, he pimped the hell of it, and I loved it. But it also was it wasn't that deep Castro. And that's just one of those moments where it's like, had that ball been like 4 feet short, it would have been a fly out. And then we're talking quite differently about Rodolfo Castro. So those are just some of the things with Castro that happen. But again, the tools are freaking there.
They absolutely are. And I'm glad he's getting a real opportunity right now. We also saw O'Neal Cruz with some walks today against a tough lefty. I think the Aroldis Chapman at bat looked about, I think, as well as we expected it to look.
It is Chapman.
Lefties don't hit him.
Right.
It just wasn't going to happen there. I think we did see a little bit of respect by getting the slider there first pitch. He wasn't challenging him, but I don't want to sound like one of the guys that everybody wants to criticize on Twitter about being all over O'Neal Cruz. Get that OBP up. I'm okay with it. Don't love seeing him late in the order, but, tough lefty today. Get some walks, some good at bats. Like you said, Castro, home run. Brian Reynolds is unfortunately really turning it on late.
He's been a mix. He's been really streaky this year, I would say.
Yeah.
He has his cold spells and he goes and gets red hot. I mean, we talked about the June, how just on fire he was. Like he had like the third best June in like MLB history or something like that. August he was hot, then he got cold. September he was a little bit cold earlier. Now he's heating back up. He's been kind of streaky.
I can't.
Not long streaks, but a bit streaky.
I mean, but at the end of the day, his swing doesn't change. Jim brought it up in our group chat. He really does have one of the better swings I've seen from both sides of the plate. He's a major league hitter all around, and kind of sad that this might be the last 2 weeks we get to see him.
I don't know what's going to happen there. It just puzzles me. But regardless, yeah, big day from him. Going back to Cruz, yeah, I mean, those 3 walks, they were all impressive. It was a lefty. And the thing is, full counts every single time. Like I joke and say, he's like the full count king. He gets them all the time. And they're quite differently. It's either they throw nothing to him, which again, that's the one thing with him being in the 7 hole. He had no one behind him. They weren't throwing much at him. But here's the difference between this time and before. And again, we talk about progression. We talk about development, right? He wasn't chasing. I mean, the first or second time, I can't remember, with Cortez. Cortez was kind of dumbfounded that he wasn't getting swings from Cruz. And that's the difference right now you're seeing from O'Neal Cruz. The first time, like a month ago, maybe a little longer than a month ago, he's swinging those pitches in a strikeout. And this time he held up and it's a walk. So it's these small little things that you're starting to see some progression from O'Neal Cruz. You're walking away comfortable. Did he get any hits tonight? No. Did he strike out twice, 2 out of 5 times? Yes. But those 3 walks, I mean, those were good plate appearances. I would like to see him hit somewhere. Get some more RBIs.
But you're on base 3 out of 5 times. I'll take that every day of the week.
And that's what I'm getting at. And those
especially against what he faced tonight.
Right. So I come away that was a good game from O'Neal Cruz. Offensively.
Yeah, defensively, not great.
Right.
He
did have the botched.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
There is. And for the same thing, with Castro, I just feel it's stuff that, and you tell me how you feel, but it's stuff that you feel can be cleaned up.
Yeah. The only difference, I think, there is an expiration date on O'Neal Cruz. Castro, I think, is going to be able to play the middle infield, second or third, long term. Cruz, I think we are running on an expiration date. He's just going to get to a point where he can't play there anymore, and it's just going to be age related, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
and that's fair.
There's enough guys that are going to be able to play it at a good level, really good level. It's something we can discuss in the offseason, but there's enough guys that if you move them off, you hope the bat plays enough to play somewhere else, and that there's more value in him not being there.
Yeah. He says, imagine how good Cruz would be if he got to hit Underwood and Crow. Yeah. We don't want to get there yet, Anthony. Thanks. We've been so positive so far on the show.
Yeah.
You just had to ruin it, man. But yeah, big day. Not a big day. Well, big day from Brian Reynolds. Good at bat from cashed over that home run there, and he did draw a walk too. Cruz had 3 walks. Even Kevin Newman goes 2 for 5 today. Jason DeLay, baby. Keep bringing it up. Ratio, Jim, wherever you're at. Ratio. I mean, Jason DeLay just always finds, like, I can't stress it enough. He is not a good hitter, but yet he always finds himself in action, and he does it again today. So Jason DeLay goes 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a walk. It's my catcher, man. It's a big hit, too.
I mean, Jason DeLay is a fine backup catcher. And by fine, I mean on this team, he's fine. He's
Even
not
in okay, I'll let you finish.
He's not good, like, at all. He plays okay defense, maybe slightly better than okay. And we probably overvalue him because we've seen so much poorly played catcher defense this year and last year and the year before. It's been a long time. Like, we watched Jacob Stallings play. I mean, he did play some good defense, but we've watched a lot of really bad defense from that position. It's like first base where we're like going crazy over Michael Chavis. And we just want to see more Michael Chavis, even though Michael Chavis stinks outside of being a pretty good defensive first baseman.
I get all that. And, I mean, we're splitting hairs here. We're arguing about the backup catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2022 and 2023. It's whatever. I'm perfectly okay with Jason DeLay being a backup catcher next year. And honestly, like, the way the catching situation is, hopefully Henry Davis makes his way to PNC next year at some point in time. ND at some point in time, and he can play it. And I don't know if, like, his long-term value as a catcher, like, I kind of feel like his value is being able to play everywhere. And ultimately, he'll probably be the backup catcher. And then when he's not backing up at the catcher position, he's playing second or outfield or first or DH or whatever it might be. But, like, to have DeLay as your backup catcher in that transitional period, I'm perfectly okay with. And I guess what I'm getting at, too, is, like, the catching situation is just terrible all around Major League Baseball. Like, you look at the most valuable catchers, like, the number 27th ranked catcher as far as WAR goes is, well, actually, I'll put the 28th is Joey Bart. he's the 28th best catcher to .9 WAR, and he's batting 221, 297. It's not like it's fantastic. Like, the catching situation isn't good all around in baseball. So if we're talking about Jason DeLay, to me, he's good enough. The defense isn't what it was when we first saw him. Like, when he first came up, he saw some really good defensive plays. It's slipping. It's slipping, but to me, it's good enough. I don't know, man. He's like Mr. Mini Clutch. He's just involved in plays.
I mean, he puts the ball in play a decent amount. Like, he's kind of like a very light version of Chris Stewart.
The thing is, that's where we were to begin with. Defensively, he's nowhere near Chris Stewart. Like, that's the problem.
Chris Stewart was very good.
And Chris Stewart, I mean, he could hit for 300 though, like, in his sleep. He got on base. Like, it is a mini version to a degree, yes, but Chris Stewart was like the ultimate backup catcher.
I guess it's more that, like, it just seems that he is finding these gaps like Chris Stewart whenever times are needed.
Fair enough. Jason DeLay, by the way, the 45th ranked catcher in baseball.
There's just so many catchers I think you can find to do what he does. Like, there are a lot of good.
Well, how come the Pirates couldn't find it this year?
Because why can't they find relievers? Like,
all right. We're talking too much about Jason DeLay. Let's move on.
Let's move on to relievers because they can't find them.
They suck. And I'm sorry. It's just, I get it. Underwood stinks. He gives up the 2 earned runs today. He looked awful. His ERA is at a 4.53. Crow comes in, doesn't give up an out, blows the 8-4 lead. The 8-4 lead, doesn't give up an out. 5 earned runs. He's at a 4.15 ERA
Doesn't
now.
get an out.
Ramirez has a nice outing, but he's still got the 5.52 ERA. Stevenson has a nice outing. He's got the 5.67 ERA. Though there's intrigue with Stevenson, Ramirez not so much, I think, with either of us. This bullpen's terrible. But again, I'm sorry. This is where I gave caution to Crow. And he's not as good, but with Underwood, the same situation. Like when these guys have to pitch every freaking day, they're done. These numbers, they're going to get even worse. And I don't throw that much issue to Crow and Underwood. It's not all their fault. Underwood's not the better pitcher. Crow, I think, still can be a good pitcher, but they're just going to look awful by the end of this year. And here we are. It's happening.
Yeah. Part of it is that he's thrown 71 innings coming in the night, which is just absolutely ridiculous. The other part is that at this point they're throwing him late in the game, and it's not who he is. You have changed his role so many times this year. He started the year as a multi-inning guy, where he could go 2 innings, light up the radar gun, throw the changeup, get outs, and get you out of jams. Then we went back in. He's going to be an 8th inning guy, 7th inning guy. Then we went back to the long inning part. Now we're back to this.
Now Bednar's injured and
Guerra de Los Santos
Halderman's
is
injured and De Los Santos is injured, and he's basically the closer.
Which it just all comes back to what I've tried to just scream is that stop trading your good players for relievers. It does not work ever. Stop doing it. How many times does Ben Sherrington have to do this? How many times is he going to trade actual position players for relievers?
Well, I don't know, because he doesn't get any relievers. He doesn't have any relievers.
Yeah, because they're all hurt. Because he just trades for them and then they use them to death and then they die.
Well, that's the problem. You got to stop using them to death. Like, get more of them. Stop having 2 or 3 and then have nothing afterwards.
That's if you're going to commit to sucking, just go on the scrap heap and recycle them. Stop burning them up.
Which is what happened. Bednar injured. I'm putting all on his usage-wise injured, but he is injured and he was used a ton. Will Crow's used a ton and now he's terrible.
Yeah,
like, you can have good relievers and then get other relievers and then use them all and not just 2 or 3.
When you're at the point where Will Crow can't get an out, it's obvious he's not getting an out this game. And you have no other option. Who's that fall on?
I'm with you. So we talked about the rotation. That, to me, like, next year, the biggest thing, like, the bullpen has to be formidable. It's the easiest unit as an entirety, right, to build and cheaply. Like, you can't cheaply just build over an offseason an entire, like, lineup, right, or rotation. But a bullpen, you kind of can. And we're not asking for, like the old school Royals bullpen or something like that, or like even now, like the Yankees, or they've been putting together.
Neil
just something
Huntington
that, like,
built a career out of it.
Well, he did. I get that. And, like, what I'm getting at is something we don't have to burn through 3 guys. Just make it good. So when you have a lead like tonight, you can actually be comfortable throwing out 3 or 4 guys and not just, okay, well, Crow, you gotta do this. It's all on your hands now.
And I do think that Sherrington's done better at this because I think Ramirez, I don't love him, but he has some stuff. What's his face from the Rockies? I can't even remember his name at this point.
Stevenson.
I was going to say Samuelson. There's stuff there we're not seeing the Eric Stouts of the world have to eat innings. There's at least some stuff now. But this shouldn't take so long to get here.
Yeah. Well, that's more. I mean, the
These
thing
guys
about
were
next year
available
is
all the time.
Halderman should be back. De Los Santos should be back. Benner will be back. You'll have Crow. You'll have maybe Stevenson.
Oviedo will be in the bullpen.
I think he's also in that line that he should get a shot, but I
he'll
don't
be
think
in
he's
the
a
bullpen.
starter. And I agree. So like there should be this stuff here. So that is what's promising. But like I still want to see. So like for instance, I mean think about I don't forget their names. He's pitching with the Dodgers doing the same thing now. But I mean the guy that they picked up, the veteran that they picked up, that was just terrible for the Red Sox. And what's his name from Seattle? Aaron Fletcher, right? And then I still forget the Red Sox. He's with the Dodgers now. Start of the age. Anyways, like you can't just be doing that anymore. Like go out there and get some of the quality. Some quality guys.
Just get guys with stuff.
And get a good bullpen. Just get a good bullpen. That way you don't have to burn the starters either. You don't have to burn the other bullpen guys because you have an entire unit that you can have some trust in.
It starts, you got to have a good plan. You got to know what to go after. And they don't. They haven't since he's taken over.
True.
Neil Huntington had a plan. He was going to acquire every single hard-throwing reliever he could. And then
that's fair enough.
They are all going at the wall, and we're going to figure out what sticks.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, he's pissed. He's pissed he couldn't see Luis Ortiz come through. Because that is a Huntington guy right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
He's pissed he couldn't teach him a sinker as well.
He's not so much pissed. Siraj is. But, yeah. So, and I guess the other story, too, is that Aaron Judge hits the 60th tonight against the Pirates. Didn't think it was happening, but then they got an extra look. And Will Crow didn't have anything in it. It happened. So, yeah.
I don't care about that record at all. But I respect Judge. He's had a hell of a year.
Monster.
I respect the fact that he did not go up and have a full-on curtain call at 60 while they're down by 3 runs. He should be the MVP. That's where I'm at.
I just think it's crazy how it's coming down again. Like last year, it wasn't close. Like Judge legit has a chance of doing it right now this late in the season. But for quite some time last year, it was, is Vlad going to be a Triple Crown winner and lose to Ohtani? And this year it's coming down to like Ohtani and Judge again. Now Judge really has a shot of being a Triple Crown winner. But like Ohtani is just, it's just amazing how good he is on both sides. And I'm with you. Like, I think Judge will win it. He should win it. But also, like, it's just crazy what Ohtani's doing. It's just absolutely absurd how good of a player Ohtani is on both sides. And like what he's doing on the pitching side this year is so much better than last year. And this guy is like a true ace right now. And an MVP caliber hitter.
But at the same time, on both sides, he's still less valuable than Aaron Judge is.
He is. That's just how elite Judge has taken his game this year.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's just incredible how good
Aaron Judge is still 2 wins better than Ohtani on one side of the ball.
He is. He's having a phenomenal season. Stumps is the one that tweeted out. Doesn't take much to look it up, though. But like his slugging percentage is higher than every Pirates OPS, but 3. It's absurd.
He does like playing a T-ball field.
He does, and I get it, but he's so damn good.
Oh, he's having a really good year. I don't hate Aaron Judge. I hate Yankee fans. I hate that team. Their games take so damn long. It's 11:30 and we're podcasting about this because the game was an hour and a half long because every one of their batters wants to step out for an hour and every pitcher takes forever. Joe West was right.
We're ending it on that because Tyler is clearly way too drunk to continue podcasting because he said Joe West is correct.
When he criticized the Yankees and the Red Sox about their length of games, he was right.
I don't care if he is right. If you ever side with Joe West, then we're done.
Go do your candy thing.
Anyways, though, we will get out of here. It was a tough loss, but 8-9 to the game was actually kind of exciting.
Sure.
So they do play tomorrow. The Yankees once again. It's a 7:05 start. It is Roansy Day. He will take on Luis Severino, who returns from the IL, I believe. If anything, it was nice. The big stage. It is the Yankees. Luis Ortiz showed up. Now we get to see Roansy. He gets to face his former team.
Yeah.
So another good must-see TV if you're a Pirates fan, hopefully.
Whatever. After that, there will be 12 left.
12 games after tomorrow, baby. Let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and follow, subscribe, do all the good stuff. We will be back tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Peace out, our scouts.